The picture on the inside tray is meant to show what happens when the elevator is broken. Actually, that was me rappelling off a 380-foot building as part of the Drop Zone Challenge, a fundraiser for Quebec Easter Seals back in 2009. Now, when you are standing on the ledge of a building and someone tells you just lean back and the rope will hold you, a lot of things go through your mind, particularly since right before they have you sign a disclaimer that I, my heirs, and my estate will not come after them. Why exactly do they expect to be talking to my heirs and my estate? This CD is all about conquering your mountains, facing your fears, and overcoming your challenges, because I firmly believe people can do anything they put their mind to. Now, when people meet me, my challenges are kind of obvious. I mean, growing up with the last name Lifshitz has just been brutal. And of course, there is the other thing. I do have a physical disability from birth called multiple congenital musculoskeletal abnormalities, which for those of you who do not speak Latin is actually the medical term for slightly effed up. Growing up, I have to admit I was kind of mischievous, a little bit of a clown, and yes, kind of a troublemaker. It actually started really early. I wasn't even 2 yet when I was in the hospital, and I may have been young, but I knew enough to know that the lady with the needle wasn't my friend. So when the blood technician came in and asked for Michael Lifshitz, I pointed to the kid in the bed across from me. And it worked too, until the little snitch started to cry, and then she realized her mistake. As I got older, I witnessed more and more examples of people's preconceived notions of what people with disabilities could do, which was actually not very much. I became increasingly frustrated, and my frustration came to a head early in 2005 when I started using an electric wheelchair for longer distances. Somehow, while the wheelchair made it easier for me to get around and more active, people automatically assumed that I could do less. Around the same time as I got the wheelchair, I moved out into my own condo. When I went shopping for furniture and it came time to discuss the financing, without failure, each salesperson was shocked that I was working and could obtain financing. I mean, realistically, my background is in finance. We do not do math with our feet. It got to the point that if one more person was shocked that I was disabled and I worked, I was going to tell them, "Yep, I'm a fireman in your neighborhood. Good luck with that." I decided to turn my frustration into something positive, so I started a website called Sure I Can. The name came pretty easy to me because realistically, I figured calling the website Can Too did not sound all that mature. I was not really sure what the website was going to be, but I was determined to show people what people with disabilities could do. So on January 27, 2006, I stepped on a comedy stage for the first time, and from that moment on, I realized just how powerful humor was. While people were laughing and having a good time, not only was I connecting with them and sensitizing them to people with disabilities, but I also had the chance to release some of my frustrations. Because here's the thing, while some may think I am making fun of my disability, most of the time I am making fun of the crazy misconceptions that people have about people with disabilities. Like the one that always cracks me up is I'll be in my wheelchair shopping and someone will say to me, "Oh, I know a guy in a wheelchair. His name is John. Do you know him?" I always had the urge to respond, "I know a guy named Bill. He's a moron. Do you know him?" I know this may come as a shock to some, but not all people with disabilities know each other. There is no secret club or a secret handshake. We wanted one, but the quadriplegics felt left out. So now we just nod at each other as we drive by. As I was telling jokes and sensitizing people to people with disabilities, another thing started happening. People would come up to me and tell me, "Michael, you do so much. You have such a great attitude. You're so inspiring." Now, folks, while I appreciate the sentiment, if the disabled dude is more active than you are, it's time to join a gym. Do Pilates or something. But actually, over time, I realized that while I was focusing on showing people what people with disabilities could do, there was another point to be made. While my challenges are more apparent, we all face challenges. The only difference is mine get me better parking spots. So if we all face challenges, then logically speaking, that means that we can all overcome challenges. So why do some people, like me, overcome their challenges and others don't? The answer is fear. If we are afraid to face our challenges, then we can never overcome them. After one of my performances of this show at the 2012 Montreal Fringe Festival, a woman came up to me and told me an anecdote that fear is actually an acronym which can stand for one of two things. It can either stand for forget everything and run, or face everything and recover. Now in my case, I can't run, so I have no choice but to face everything and recover. And here is how I do it.